Mira learned that Lena had moved to the city for music school. And Mira, well, she was an artist, though not much of a people watcher, preferring the quiet beauty of the landscapes outside town. Their conversations were easy, punctuated by the soft splash of the fountain and the occasional chirp of a cricket. One evening, as the sky blazed with the colors of sunset, Lena stopped playing abruptly. "I have to practice scales," she said with a sigh, pushing her music aside. "But I want to play something else, something more," she added softly, meeting Mira's eyes. Mira returned the smile, understanding dawning on her face. They both knew there was something unspoken between them, a melody neither dared to play. But tonight, the notes seemed to be falling into place. In the weeks since they met, Mira had developed a habit of stealing small glances at Lena, catching her playing or laughing with friends. Each stolen moment filled her with warmth, but also with a fear of rejection. What if Lena didn't feel the same way? What if their friendship, their easy companionship, slipped away with a single misspoken word? The thought of losing Lena, of returning to the quiet routine without her music echoing in the evenings, was a fearsome thing. And yet, the longer Mira sat by the fountain watching Lena, the more she realized that she couldn't bear the thought of letting this feeling go unspoken. When Lena nodded toward the empty bench beside her, Mira took it as a sign, a silent invitation to step closer. Taking a deep breath, Mira set her sketchbook down and scooted closer to the edge of the fountain, her fingers lightly touching the cold water. As the notes drifted through the air, Mira felt a sense of peace settle over her. With each passing moment, the fear receded, replaced by a growing confidence, a belief that this melody, this shared moment, was where it was meant to be. The sound of Lena's laughter echoed through the empty streets. Mira turned toward the music hall, a soft smile gracing her lips. Tonight was the night she'd been waiting for, the night she'd finally let herself believe in the possibility of more with Lena. Inside, the hall buzzed with anticipation. Tonight was Lena's debut with the city orchestra, a culmination of years of hard work and dedication. As Lena stood backstage, her heart pounded in her chest, her fingers trembling slightly on her violin. She could hear the murmurs of the audience settling down, the rustle of programs being opened. Her mind raced, memories flashing before her eyes. All those hours of practice, the sacrifices, the rejections, the triumphs, and then Mira, the woman who had become the melody in Lena's life, the one who had shown her that there could be something more. Lena met Mira's gaze from across the crowded hall. In that brief moment, the world around them faded away. It was just Lena and Mira, connected by a bond that went beyond music or art. Music was Lena's language, her way of expressing the emotions that words sometimes failed to capture. But tonight, as she looked at Mira, she knew there was something she needed to say, something she couldn't say with music. With a deep breath, Lena began to play. The opening notes rang out, clear and resonant, carrying with them the weight of unspoken emotions. The music swelled, filling the hall, enveloping the audience in its embrace. Each note was a brushstroke on the canvas of the night, creating a masterpiece of sound and emotion. Lena poured her heart and soul into the performance. The violin became an extension of her very being, its every curve and nuance echoing the story that only she and Mira understood. Between each piece, the applause thundered, a testament to Lena's virtuosity and the power of her music. But Lena heard another sound, a sound that mattered more than any applause. The soft whisper of Mira's voice calling her name. As the final notes faded and the applause reached its crescendo, Lena saw Mira standing in the aisle, her eyes shining with admiration and love. In that moment, Lena knew she couldn't wait any longer. She had to say the words that had been echoing in her heart. With a slight smile, Lena dipped her head in acknowledgement of the applause before turning toward the orchestra leader, whispering something in his ear. A moment later, he nodded understandingly and announced, "For our next piece, we are honored to welcome a very special guest." Lena turned to see Mira in the aisle, holding out her hand. Lena took it, her fingers intertwining with Mira's. Together, they walked onto the stage. The audience, sensing a shift in the atmosphere, fell silent. All eyes were on Lena and Mira as they stood there hand in hand, bathed in the soft glow of the stage lights. Lena felt a surge of emotions, a mixture of excitement, nervousness, and pure joy. Mira's presence on stage with her, it was like a dream. Lena squeezed Mira's hand gently, drawing strength from the warmth that radiated from her touch. Then, as if guided by an invisible force, Lena leaned in and kissed Mira. The kiss was soft, tender, a promise of the melody that had just begun. The silence in the hall was shattered by a wave of applause. People stood up, cheering, their faces alight with smiles. Some whistled, others shouted congratulations. The love and acceptance resonated in every corner of the hall. In that moment, Lena and Mira knew they weren't just sharing a stage, they were sharing a future. After the show, as the applause echoed through the grand hall, Lena and Mira stood side by side, taking it all in. The cheers of the crowd mingled with the hum of conversation, creating a symphony of excitement. Lena felt a sense of triumph, not just for the performance, but for the courage to live a life true to who she was. Mira, too, felt a sense of elation, a lightness in her chest as she watched Lena interact with their friends and family. They had taken a leap of faith that evening, and the world had responded with love and acceptance. In the days that followed, Lena and Mira's lives became a beautiful melody of shared moments. They explored hidden cafes, strolled through art galleries, and danced under the moonlight. Their love story, once whispered in stolen glances and unspoken dreams, now resonated in the very air around them. They had found their harmony, not in spite of their differences, but because of them. One lazy Sunday afternoon, Lena and Mira found themselves sprawled on a blanket in a secluded meadow. The late summer sun bathed the landscape in warm hues, casting long shadows around them. The air was filled with the scent of wildflowers and the distant hum of bees. Lena rested her head on Mira's lap, her fingers tracing patterns on the grass. Mira, in turn, gently stroked Lena's hair, her thumb moving in soothing rhythm. "Remember the first time we met?" Lena asked suddenly, a soft smile gracing her lips. Mira chuckled, recalling the scene vividly. "How could I forget? You were making beautiful music and I was too shy to approach you. I remember," Lena said, a playful lilt in her voice. "You were sitting at the fountain trying to sketch me." A comfortable silence fell between them, filled only by the rustling leaves and the distant laughter of children at play. "I'm so glad we found each other, Lena," Mira said softly, her eyes gazing up at the cloudless sky. "Me too," Lena replied, her voice barely a whisper. As the sun began its slow descent, painting the sky in vibrant hues of orange and purple, Lena sat up, her eyes shining with excitement. "I have a surprise for you," she said, reaching for Mira's hand. "Close your eyes," she whispered, leading Mira to her feet. Mira, intrigued and trusting, closed her eyes, leaning into Lena's touch. Lena intertwined her fingers with Mira's and guided her through a series of turns and steps. The familiar streets of the city seemed transformed, the evening air alive with magic. They stopped before a building that was new to Mira, its windows reflecting the city lights like 1,000 stars. "Here," Lena said, squeezing Mira's hand. "Are you ready?" Mira, still blindfolded, took a deep breath, her heart pounding with anticipation. "I think so," she whispered, her voice filled with wonder. Lena removed the blindfold, revealing a sight that took Mira's breath away. The building before them was adorned with fairy lights, creating an enchanting glow that spilled onto the pavement. "It's beautiful," Mira breathed, her eyes wide with amazement. Hand in hand, they entered the building, stepping into a world of swirling colors and mesmerizing music. Inside, the space had been transformed into a gallery, showcasing Lena's artwork. Canvases adorned with vibrant colors and abstract shapes lined the walls, each piece a window into Lena's creative soul. Soft music filled the space, adding to the ambience of wonder and delight. "Lena, it's incredible," Mira said, her voice filled with awe. "You're so talented." Lena blushed, her eyes sparkling with happiness. "I wanted to share this with you, Mira. You've inspired so much of my work lately." Mira felt a surge of emotion, her heart swelling with love and admiration for Lena. "You make me want to create, to explore, to dream," Mira admitted, her eyes meeting Lena's. As the evening wore on, the gallery became a sanctuary of love and creativity for Mira and Lena. They moved from canvas to canvas, discussing the art and sharing their dreams. And as the night deepened, they knew they had found something truly special, a love that inspired, a connection that transcended words.